Welcome to another episode of Real Game Talk, the podcast. Before we get into it, go ahead and hit the like or subscribe button if you're following us on YouTube or Spotify. Um, it's your guy Will here again with my guy Matt. End of April, first Monday after Easter. Matt, what's going on? What's good with you today, my man?
What's good, Chief? Yep. Like you said, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit both, show some love, subscribe so you can stay updated on all the newest episodes. Like so we can get some more we can extend our little viewership, we can start being recommended to other people.
For
So
sure.
yeah, that's why we're asking y'all to do that. Especially if you are listening, you know what I'm saying, and you get through 30 minutes, you might as well go on and subscribe. We don't kept you that long. So um, but yeah, other than that, man, it's a day, uh, a good day to talk sports, good week. So
Okay.
we'll get through that.
I got you. We got a lot of topics this week. A lot is going on this week. This is the draft week. This is the first full week of NBA playoffs coming off the weekend, which the playoffs started on Saturday. And then we'll get into some football stuff and life stuff as we go on through the show. But we'll open this one up with the NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs started on Saturday, in which all teams that are in the playoffs had are through game one. Basically, we had some four games on Saturday and then four games on Sunday. As far as the Eastern Conference games, we had the Knicks and Detroit going at it, in which they are going at it right now. We had Milwaukee and Indiana going at it. We had Orlando and Boston matching up, and then we also had Cleveland and Miami. Right now, the game series are Cleveland is up one, Boston is up 1-0, the Knicks are up 1-0, and Indiana is up 1-0. Matt, of those series, which one is your favorite series? And talk to me about why you're paying attention to those series and what you're getting from the game so far to the weekend.
Well, up until game one, my the series I would have said in the East would have just been the Knicks and the Pistons, just to see a young team up and come and see what they got. If they're gonna be able to give the Knicks a run for their money. Knicks pretty healthy. Um,
Okay.
they got superstars on their team, and the Pistons got a young up and coming superstar or two on their team. You know what I'm saying? So, or three. So yeah, I just want to see that. But watching the Pacers and seeing Dame get into it with what's my boy
Halliburton.
name?
Tyrese
Yeah,
Halliburton.
yeah, Tyrese. I'm like, okay, Dame, let's see what you gonna do. So now I'm waiting to see game two or whenever game Dame gonna return, see if he gonna get some get back for the Pacers. I mean for the Bucks against the Pacers, because Pacers jumped out 1-0. It's
Okay.
best of four, so one game ain't gonna do or die or make it or break it. So waiting to see what Dame gonna do. So right now that's the one I'm playing. I'm paying close attention to. Everybody else that's up 1-0, I think they gonna win the series. Even if they lose that next game, everybody else in the East that's up 1-0, I got them winning that series.
Okay. With that being said, then I think that the Knicks Detroit is my favorite series out the Eastern Conference. Mainly because I wanted it to give me that '90s feel. I wanted the two teams to battle it out. I wanted the crowd to erupt in Madison Square Garden. When they go to Detroit, I want Detroit's crowd to be live. I wanted their crowd to get back to when Ben Wallace and Rasheed Wallace and Chauncey Billups was doing their thing. I didn't really catch the playoffs, of course, when they was doing their thing back-to-back titles, but I did see those runs in the 2000s when they had both Ben and Rasheed Wallace with Chauncey, Tayshaun, and Rip doing their thing then. So they had a nice atmosphere. Of course, they PA announcer used to have the game kind of live back then. So I want to see if it's going to get back to some physical, rough and tough basketball, especially with the playoffs ramping up. Also picking up on that Bucks Indiana series though. Um, I saw Dan get into it with Tyrese Halliburton. I saw the Bucks get it handed to him, and then I started going through the box score, and I looked and seen Kyle Kuzma, which should have elevated from third option, the second option, basically was out there just doing cardio. He played 20 something minutes and he didn't have no stats to back it up, man. So he only shot the ball 5 times, but they were saying that he needed to get more shots. But if you ain't shooting, maybe you can affect the game in different ways as well. And then this was Doc Rivers saying that he, should get him more shots. But then as I'm listening, I'm like, Doc, ain't you the coach? Won't you draw up some more plays for him to get more than 5 shots there? I don't quite understand that. And I've always been paying attention to Doc Rivers and how he let series slip away. I remember when he was coaching Boston and they was playing the Lakers, and I didn't heard one of those timeouts when the Lakers was having them, especially in the 2010 finals, where they were saying this is what Doc Rivers' team do. They trick off leads. They give you chances to win the game. And then it snowballed after that when he was with the Clippers and went through series where he lost them 3-1. And then he did that multiple times. He did it when Josh Smith and them was with Houston. Then he did another 3-1. I think in the bubble they lost another 3-1 series too. And so him closing out, he's starting. He has a reputation of not being able to close out series and games and stuff like that. So now that he's on the back end of this series, maybe he'll coach a little better, get his team a little bit more hungry to come back from an 0-1 series and go ahead and take it. But at least take it to Game 7. I mean, this is a 4-5 matchup. It's not like this is a 1-8 matchup out the East. These teams should be evenly handed. I know Dame was out, but the game should have been a little bit more competitive as well. As far as the other 2 series, again, we speaking on Miami and Cleveland. Cleveland is a nice well-rounded team. They got Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Ty Jerome, which is a 6-man candidate or 6-man finalist. He came in and gave him a spark yesterday off the bench. Actually, there was a period where I think he had like 17 of their last 25 points. And so he came off one of those screens and pulled up deep and knocked it down. And it was nice to see him get the crowd in it. With it being his first playoff game, they was, giving him a pat on the back for showing poise and not folding due to the pressure. As far as Boston and Orlando, I watched their game and then I looked at the box score. I don't know what Orlando's really doing. I looked at the box score. They had Paulo Banchero and Wagner. Von Wagner, I think is how you pronounce it. They each shot 27 and 24 shots apiece. And the next person on their team with shots was 6. So you get 27 shots from one guy, 24 from another guy, and then the next person in your rotation as far as shots is 6. I don't think that's a healthy balance on how you're gonna win games in this league. That's something that they might need to work on their shot distribution, I should say. Not relying on just 2 players. Because if you're going against Boston, they have at least 5 or 6 players that could give you double figures on any game. And you relying on 2 players with a defensive team like Boston, you're not gonna win that. So I know Orlando was up at half, but it went down after halftime, and they ended up getting a little spanking put on them as well. So the Eastern Conference, they got to juice it up. Again, you got to have a little drama. They tend over the years to be a little more boring in the Western Conference from a competition standpoint. But you got some good matchups, and like I said, we both agree that we're paying attention to the Knicks and Detroit series. And we'll see how that goes. Detroit let the Knicks go on that 21-0 run in Game 1, in which they were up, I want to say 8 in the 4th, and then they ended up losing as well. So it didn't look good. I don't know if they have you said they stars was doing their thing, but their stars are young in the playoffs too. Was that a sign of them being a young team that they couldn't finish that out in Madison Square Garden and the pressure got to them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sign of them being a young team and the coach not calling the timeout when he needs to call the timeout.
Gotcha. So
and getting composure over that young team, because you got some veterans too.
Mm-hmm.
You got Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr., somebody else on. I can't remember who else, but had some success. Who you say?
Dennis Schroeder and Malik Beasley.
Yeah, okay. But you know what I'm saying? They didn't have these dudes and had some success in the league and in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? They kind of get that back right. So I mean, they kind of go. I mean, we got to look at the coaching too. You know, going based off of same way we gonna blame Doc for a team. You know what I'm saying, falling apart. You got to look at this coach too. You know, especially if you're not making the right moves or calling them timeouts at the good time. You got to use them strategically. And yeah, when the team going on a run like that, yeah, you got to do something to stop it.
I got you. Do you feel that they will be able to get some momentum as a young team? And I'm saying that normally once you lose one in grand fashion, like you lost on game one, that normally tends to linger in the mind of a young ball club. And then next thing you know, it gets out of control in the series where a more poised ball club or a more poised team has the momentum and they know how to shut you out. They know how to put their foot on your neck throughout the series and go ahead and close it out. So do you feel that they'll make this a competitive series?
Yeah, it's just one game. I don't never hold my hat on one game, especially the game one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but and with those veterans there, they gonna get. They're sure that's what they telling them, you know. And they started out pretty good tonight. I don't know what the score look like now, but you can tell they was able to shake that off. You know what I'm saying? It was just a bad run, and I'm sure coach took some blame for that. But yeah, you can shake that off. It's and not saying that they're gonna win the series, but make it competitive for sure. You know what I'm saying? And that could be anything from it just being a competitive series from game to game.
Right.
Like, hey, even if it's a gentleman sweep or a sweep, it's not gonna be like they. I can't see them having a game where the Knicks just run through them like that. They're gonna make it competitive.
Okay. I hope it's a good 7 game series. I like the Madison Square Garden crowd. So if it does go 7 games, that game 7 will be in New York. I like the crowd. I like somebody rising up to the challenge too. A few years ago, we had Trae Young doing it for the Hawks. Of course, you can go back to the '90s when Reggie Miller used to do it for the Pacers. So when you get a good villain in there in Madison Square Garden, I want to see a good person stamp their legacy, a playoff legacy, and stamp their name in the history books of walking into Madison Square Garden and handling business. So hopefully Kay Cunningham can do that, or maybe someone else on the team can do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But that's what I always look for when New York is hosting playoff series. I never expect them. Honestly, I don't get riled up for the Knicks, I should say. So, like, even when it used to be Patrick Ewing and them, I used to wait for them to have a letdown and someone come in and steal a game out of Madison Square Garden. I expect after Reggie did it, I expect the team to walk in there and I want to see which player is going to step up, rise to that occasion, stamp their name in Madison Square Garden history. That's what you play the game for. That's what they say. Because a lot of times you can get it from, well, we used to get it from the Big East tournament back when they used to play it at Madison Square Garden. They had UConn, Georgetown, Syracuse. You could get somebody to have a good tournament run, stamp their name in history, and be forever cemented as one of the greats. And the last person I would have, the one that I can remember, I don't know if Shabazz did it, but Kemba Walker did it in that Big East tournament. Took him on, but after he had made Buddy touch earth, after he had gave him that step back and hit that game winner, then that's cementing yourself as one of the greats, especially in MSG. So again, I hope somebody from this playoffs can give me that run. Right now, Jalen Brunson doing his thing, so we'll see. He been holding it down for the Knicks the last 2 years in the playoffs, so we'll see how he does going forward.
Well, shout out to my homeboy, and I say that is that he just from the same city.
Okay.
I don't know this dude, but he definitely stamped himself Madison Square Garden. Larry Johnson with the 4 point
Okay.
Madison Square Garden. He did it on the good end for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But he definitely somebody I'm sure Madison Square Garden and the Knicks gonna always remember for that.
Okay. Yeah, with the 4 point play. That's when they end up going. Was that the year they went to the finals and lost to the Spurs? It would have been 99.
That was probably one of the few years I was rooting for the Knicks with Marcus Camby, Spreewell, Allen Houston, Chris Childs, Charlie Ward.
Charlie Ward just got a head coaching job at Florida A&M. I
He
saw that.
did, man. Shout out to him. One of my partners, they big Florida State fans. They feel like it ain't gonna work because FAMU not a good program and they don't really care about sports and stuff.
I mean, I ain't really talking down or anything like that, but when a legend goes back to one of those historically black colleges and stuff, it's the reason why they hire head coaches because the program right now needs some direction. So when you
Right.
reach out to a vet or a legend like that with Mike Vick with Norfolk State, Charlie Ward on the basketball side, Dion's when he was at Jackson,
True.
Eddie George and stuff like that. You reaching out to them to bring in some attention, some spotlight, some boosters that might help based off of the credentials that the head coaches are going to bring in. And Charlie Ward is always, from what I've seen, has always been a stand-up guy. He ain't one of them type of guys that come in with the flash and the rah-rah. And I'm saying it's just simply based off watching his game on the court as an NBA player. He was when him and Chris Childs would go back and forth as who was starting and coming off the bench. Charlie Ward was the guy who would come in and settle the team down, get him in the right spots, which is probably where he learned leadership is winning a Heisman Trophy too as a quarterback. So you can pretty much feel like you're getting some good direction from a guy like that.
So it just made me think about something. So were you able to watch Charlie Ward at Florida State?
I never saw him. No. What year did he win Heisman? 92? 91?
93, something like that.
Yeah, so 92, 93. I'm 6 years old, 7 years. So I didn't recognize Charlie Ward until he was with the Knicks. Like somebody had to go back and tell me he also won Heisman Trophy, played football. So I never got to see him play.
So nowadays, man, I would love to see Charlie Ward have a career and see how it would have panned out because he was definitely an NFL quarterback, in my opinion.
Okay.
Especially nowadays, you know what I'm saying, the way they look at quarterbacks and what quarterbacks are doing. And if you're big enough for the NBA, you got to be big enough for the NFL,
sure.
right? So yeah, it was just crazy how the NFL kind of shunned him after having the success that he had at Florida State, to where he wasn't even going to be a top pick. It was crazy. You know, yeah, Duke, he had the talent, man, and they was beating some top tier schools back then. And
I didn't know that was the reason why he went to the NBA route. I more so thought he went because it's a less physical. You can have more longevity with, and they was making more money than the NFL guys too. So that's why.
I think was he a first? He might have been a first round pick. I can't remember, but he wasn't like a lottery pick. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at the NFL, been looking at him like nowadays how he probably would have been graded. You talking about a top 10 pick? You know what I'm saying? So
he was mobile. Was he a mobile threat?
He moved when he needed to. You know what I'm saying? But he showed that he was like a Warren Moon to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he had the arm strength, but he definitely had the accuracy and just the poise in the pocket. Didn't have to move much. You know what I'm saying? Kept his eyes downfield. But if he had to get out of there, he would. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't how he made his money. He made his money throwing to the receiver.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. That's well. Wish him luck at his new gig, with his new program, getting that turned around, and hopefully go for the right direction and get it going where they can get some boosters, some NIL, and some success behind it too. So I wish him luck in that. Transitioning out the Eastern Conference playoffs, we'll move over to the Western Conference playoffs where we have some dynamic matchups. Tonight, we will be looking at a 4-5 matchup on Monday night, which we have the Clippers versus the Nuggets. The Nuggets are up 1-0 on that series. We also have the Lakers and Timberwolves series. We also have the Rockets and Warriors series. And then the number one seed from the West is Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Matt, talk to me about what you saw from those 4 series over the weekend and give me how you feeling about predictions coming out of each of those series.
Well, saw some stuff that I wasn't expecting to see, but I'm not really surprised, because it's the NBA. Game 1, I wasn't expecting to see the Grizzlies get run through by the Thunder like that. I do understand it was game 1 and they just came off of playing in the play-in. So, I'm sure that played a part. And then the Thunder was just on point, you know what I'm saying? The guys was,
Rested
making
up.
some. They play some good ball as a team. Which they do. You cannot let the Thunder get in transition because they gonna score. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna run off on you in transition. But I expect the Grizzlies to make it a series. I'm looking at least a 6-game series there. I'm
I don't.
hoping. Um, let's see the Lakers and Timberwolves. Ant, you know what I'm saying? He do what he do. Every since he get in the playoffs, he show he got that dog in him.
Okay.
He gonna bring it. You know what I'm saying? No matter what, he gonna do whatever and say whatever to challenge himself to make it competitive. To bring
Okay.
out the best. But I still think a lot of them dudes played. They hit a lot of shots that I don't think they're gonna continue to hit. Again, it's you do want to win, especially when you're on the road. You want to win that game, at least one game, on the opponent's home turf. But you still, to me, that doesn't really define how it's gonna go because we still ain't got. They could win 2 games in your home court. I've seen it
Okay.
happen like that too. So you still in one, don't make it an interesting series. Now we know we're gonna at least have 5 games, but I think that's gonna go by 6-2. I think the
Okay.
Lakers and them will be able to win out and overcome that challenge by Ant. I think some of the other players, McDaniel and forgot my other dude name. I think they're gonna come back down to earth on them 3-point shots. Think JJ gonna make adjustments. I think he's still gonna let them shoot them shots. Shit, okay, keep doing it. We know what your percentage is. Overall, we know eventually we gonna get that percentage out of you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I expect the Lakers to be able to do their thing. I do think the
And just like that, got a little bit of a freeze up. Um, and I'll throw
that
that in.
gamble.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know if it was a gamble or not, but I would say I appreciate him for sticking with Russ during crunch time when Michael
Okay.
Porter wasn't really on point. He
I'm
wasn't
about
hitting
to
his
tear your
shots.
argument up, man. I'm glad you're making good points. I'm about to tear that whole Russell Westbrook argument down, though. And Russ is my guy, but I don't trust him.
I mean,
I don't trust him at all, man. At this point in his career, he's about 50-50. And depending on which night, that 50-50 might shift over to a 75-25 on him disrupting your game plan for you, too. Because he
yeah,
almost
but
gave it away.
he almost did it. I mean, I wouldn't say that. I seen that shit at the end. If that's what you're talking about, but
Oh,
they
I'm
was
talking about before that. I watched the whole fourth quarter. He almost gave it away 2 times.
got you, but he didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He made some plays in crunch time too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of rebounds. Hit that 3. I
Yeah.
seen Jokic catching down him going down on the cut down the middle of the paint. When he was looking for somebody, like he made some good plays and he played hard. If you're not getting nothing from Michael Porter like that, then you got to play somebody.
I got you. You
And
go with it.
that's
You go with it. Then. I can agree with you on that. They didn't give money from Michael Porter. But go ahead, finish your text, man. I got some text for you.
okay. Warriors, Rockets. Warriors went straight. UConn, Duke on them with the 1-3-1 defense. Daring them to shoot. And it wasn't, it worked out for them, man. I see the Warriors beating them, you know what I'm saying? I don't see what the Rockets, I know they got some talent on that team, but I think they overachieved this year, which is beautiful for them. And I hope they prove me wrong, but I don't see them getting past the Warriors. I can see this one going 5. I
Okay.
think the Warriors gonna win the next game. I think the Rockets gonna sneak one out on the Warriors court, and that's gonna be it. And again, who was that? Who else was there? I think that's it. I got the Nuggets, Clippers, Grizzly, Thunder, Warriors, Rockets, and Lakers and the Celtics. So
Okay. All right.
that's how I'm looking at it.
I'm gonna put them in rankings of which ones interest me, least interest ranking versus most interest for me. Least Thunder, Memphis. Um, Memphis has lost 10 straight to the Thunder. So this goes back to last year. So we got this year's regular season, this one game in the playoffs, and then games last year, which Ja was out a lot of last year too. However, I don't know if they have the horses to deal with them. I was watching, and I was already watching it, but one of the analysts came on and said it too, and it made me say, "Yeah, I thought I was the only one paying attention." The Thunder get into those passing lanes and deflect a lot of balls and a lot of steals. When you were saying that you got to stop them from being in transition because they're gonna get open and get their points, that means you got to take care of the ball on the other end of the floor. And I don't know if they can take care of the ball. I saw Lou Dort with 3 steals. I saw Alex Caruso with 3 steals. There was a couple guys that had at least 2 blocks apiece. And then we watching this game where SGA had his worst performance of the season, and they lost by 51 points. You expect me to expect them to have? Yeah, they may have a better game, but off 51 points, what is it? 10. Oklahoma City's margin of victory this year, which is the highest ever, is 12 points per game. So them coming back and having a decent game, what it mean? They lost by 17, they lost by 16 this time. I just don't know. And then this is like you said, on the heels of them coming out to play in, they had to play a game within 48 hours, which leads me to say I don't necessarily know if the NBA really needs that play in because everything that happened, y'all gave me a week of drama, but the 7th seed still ended up being a 7th seed, which was Golden State. The 8th seed still ended up being an 8th seed, which was Memphis. And then both Rockets and Oklahoma City had a week off apiece. You get a week off for Oklahoma City, time for them to game plan, time for them to rest up on anything running. It showed. It didn't necessarily show in the Rockets game, but I feel and everybody feels that Golden State is the better team in that anyway. Vegas actually has Golden State as the favorite to win that series. So when it comes to Memphis, yeah, they may play better. I'm thinking that playing better just equals a 10-point loss versus a 50-point loss to me. Going
Well,
going to the next 3 series, these are all actually, when I say least to favorite as far as interest, these all 3 of these series actually are probably equally.
do you got Memphis getting swept?
Gentleman sweep. Gentleman sweep, I would say. I'm reluctant to say that. Hey, maybe a sweep. It depends on what they do when they play whoop that trip back home in Memphis, and maybe they get a little surge and close out one. But Jaren Jackson Jr., no show. This is a defensive player of the year. A couple years ago, he had 4 points and 3 rebounds. As a big man in this league, you only had 3 rebounds and even more of a wild factor. Jaren Jackson Jr. only averages about 6 points, 6 rebounds a game as a big man. What are we doing here, man? Like, is he a shooting guard or is he a big man? Which one is it? And if I was a big man, I would feel disrespected that I only average 6 rebounds a game. You pick him on prize picks for your parlay, his over under is always 5.5 rebounds. I'm like, come on, man. And the crazy part is the big man, you would think, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and hit more. Nope. He is most likely to let you down before he hit that parlay for you. So that's kind of embarrassing. So now, answer the question again is, do I think they're gonna get swept? I'm more inclined to say, yeah, they probably will get swept. They just ain't got the horses right now, and they coach. They got a new coach in there who came in with 8 games left. I just don't see it. They not as well. They don't have the chemistry that they need to have right now. So I don't think they got it.
I think they're gonna be all right. Everybody gonna play better games.
One game.
I mean, I can at least get 2 games out of this.
I don't see.
But
I can't see 2 games.
Thunder, I can't see them saying everybody making them same plays 4 games in a row. You know what I'm saying? And then playing on like they was on fire. Case and Wallace, all of them dudes was on fire.
Crazy part is,
who you say?
I was going to say the crazy part is because I was looking at numbers as I was debating with a homeboy today on players that shoot 40% from the 3-point line with a minimum of 400 attempts this year. Pulled at 11 guys. Lou Dort is one of them guys, man. I never would have thought that Lou Dort was one of them guys shooting 40% or more from the 3-point line with a minimum of 400 attempts. And so, if that's your, we would consider him the worst shooter on the floor for the Thunder. Because you put him out there
I
with.
mean, that ain't what the percentages say though, so we can't
I know
consider.
that's what I'm saying. If you watch it from the eye test, he has like a little bit of
Yeah,
a
so
hit.
I'm going with whoever the percentage say is the worst shooter. And that's who I'm gonna leave open. I mean, who was hitting
you
shots
wouldn't
last year?
you wouldn't
He
know he
been
was
shooting. I
just
know
watch.
he's 40% though, huh?
Yeah. You would assume he was in the low 30s, but he is percentage wise, he's the best one on the Oklahoma City Thunder. So with that being said, if this is eye test telling me this is their worst shooter, not going off percentage, because if you see him, he's either gonna hit it or he's gonna airball. It really ain't no in between when he's shooting it. So you be like, oh, okay, that just went his shot. But if he's 40%, then you got SGA, J Dub, Chet, and then Hartenstein doing this thing with that push shot in the middle. I just don't see it happening for the Thunder. I wanted it to be competitive, but I just don't see it. So I'm more inclined to say sweep. If I'm putting my money on it, I'm more inclined to say sweep versus 6 games, I should say. Moving over to that Clippers Nuggets game, that's the interesting matchup. Again, we got the Nuggets coming off with their coach who got fired with 3 games left. They end up winning the game that I felt like they snuck out and stole. The Clippers actually probably should have won that game. They dropped it at the end. Like you said, Russ made some hustle plays, but he almost gave it away. And I ain't talking about the late game play where he should have shot it and it ended up going in overtime. I'm talking about when he smoked one of them layups when he probably should have pulled the ball out and ran some clock down. Instead, he went in there doing Russ's typical thing, 1-on-3, smoked the layup. They went back and scored on transition. Then I want to say he was the one who gave up the play for James Harden to tie it up in the regulation too. So as much as you get good from him, you get a lot of bad, and just depending on the night, I feel like Russ might give you a game or two in this series, which could cost you the entire series if you expecting to win a close series. But I'm interested to see what they do tonight. I'm liking the way Harden is playing. Kawhi, um, Kawhi had an okay game. Everybody was on him because he didn't have the game that they expected him, but I feel like he can bounce back. One person who I'm low on as far as stock right now, which is everybody was on him the beginning of the year and even was saying he was an all-star snub, is Norman Powell. I just don't see. I'm not a Norman Powell fan right now. I think he's starting to become what we always known Norman Powell to be, which is a good role player. I don't think he's going to step up and win in no games or be the deciding factor or the best player on the floor, which is what they were saying early on in the season, that Norman Powell was the one being to that decent record that they had before the All-Star break. So I'm a little bit low on his stock right now. I do like Big Z in the middle. He is competing with Jokic and making Jokic work. Jokic didn't just jump out there and have 30 and 20 and 20 assists or 30 and 10 and 10. Big Z is doing this thing. I like the way he works. So I'm tending to go with the Clippers winning that series, to be honest with you. Who else we got? Lakers Thunder. Yeah.
Timberwolves.
Timberwolves. I mean Lakers Timberwolves. Game 2 is gonna tell me a lot about what I need to know about Anthony Edwards. He came down and he was doing this thing, which we know Anthony Edwards is somebody who's going to compete at a high level. He's going to give you exactly what Anthony Edwards gives you: highlights, great shots, talking smack, which a lot of people like that. This game, too, is going to tell me what I need to know about Anthony Edwards, and which I've been watching and wanting to see. I wrote it down. Will Anthony Edwards be mature enough to handle success from game 1 and put his foot on the Lakers' neck and stump them out in game 2? When we know that they gonna come back and with everything they got, will he be able to galvanize his team? Say, hey, I'm gonna lead y'all to the promised land.
What happened? Is it me? Oh shoot! I think he froze up. But yeah, the Lakers beating the Timberwolves, man. Okay, like you coming back in. There you go. What happened?
Yeah. It looked like I had froze up. Basically what I was saying. You got me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you good.
All right, basically what I was saying is what I'm looking for him to step up and lead his team. Like you can't come out here with the mature antics. I actually saw him getting into it with one of the fans, man. He told the fans some wild stuff while they was getting into it in game one. And so I want to see what he's gonna do. I want to see if he's gonna lead him, put his foot down, be in the moment, be engaged, take the game serious. I want to see if he's gonna lead him, and this is a perfect opportunity for him. I'm inclined to say he won't. I'm inclined to say LeBron and Luka gonna be on their stuff. They're gonna tie it up 1-1. I'm almost inclined to say that they're gonna blow the Timberwolves out in game 2. But my heart want to see Ant grow up in this moment and stomp them out and put some pressure on the Lakers and see what they do when they backs against the wall. I want to see what JJ Redick does when he ain't got the two best dudes on the floor, and it's obvious that Ant is doing his thing. What adjustments he really gonna make since he think he's a play calling guru, which is how he supposedly got the job. So we'll see. So on that, I want to see Ant do his thing with the Lakers and Timberwolves. And then last but not least, the Warriors and Rockets. Warriors did exactly what I thought they was gonna do. They got the two best finishers on the court going against a younger team. Their maturity showed down the stretch. The game got physical from both teams. Steph came out and missed his first 3 or 4 shots. Ended up leveling up his competition and his focus, knocking down some threes, bringing them back. Jimmy Butler was doing his thing. As you said, they went into a 1-3-1. It was obvious to go into a 1-3-1 because the Rockets can't shoot. They couldn't shoot in the regular season. They got a lot of wins being in the run and gun league and the run and gun open style. So when you got young bucks that can get out there in an open floor like you speaking on in Oklahoma City, then they can get some wins and probably more wins than they should have gotten. Once the playoffs came and it was a half-court game and you got to go get buckets in the half-court, they don't have a player that can go get buckets in the half court. And everybody wanted to be Jalen Green, but it ain't been Jalen Green. They start off in the half court and they use their center Shingon, but down the stretch in the fourth quarter, they get away from using him. And so that's where the Warriors took over the game. That's where the Warriors put their stamp on it. That's where grown men stepped up and took the game away from some kids that was out there on the court. And that's pretty much how I feel about the Thunder and the Warriors. Not saying that the Thunder is going to lay down. They have a grown man leading them, which is Udoka, who don't really play that. He about all the competition, especially from a coaching standpoint. You've seen him get into some of them players and ruffle their feathers. He always stick up for his team. He got into it with Steph a couple of weeks ago. Last year, I remember him getting into it with LeBron, had some choice words with LeBron and made him feel some type of way. And so I appreciate that from that standpoint. But this series is going to be about which team has the most dogs and which team got the most puppies. And last night in game one, which team had puppies and which one had dogs. All right, man. You ain't ready to give me a take on some stuff I was saying? What you got for me?
You say it again?
Look like when I said a couple things, you look like you was ready to give me some takes back. Like I when I said that they had some dogs and they had puppies in Houston.
Man, I mean, we going by age, yeah. I can't knock that analogy, you know what I'm saying? Dogs versus puppies in Houston. As far as the age go, you know what I'm saying? I think Houston gonna have to play a little bit. They're gonna have to hope for some transition points like the Thunder shit, you know, get some tips. I know that's how that's how Jimmy Butler and the Warriors got their money on them, but that's their best case scenario as far as being able to put up some points. 95-85, I mean, that ain't looking too promising. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's playoff basketball though. When both teams under 100, you bumping them, you getting physical with them, and buckets having to get grinded out. You seeing who making buckets and who wasn't making buckets. And at one point, it was at a 20-point lead for the Warriors, and they, of course, do what Warriors do, which is Steph, the turnover king, start turning the ball over and getting loose with the ball. Gave the Rockets an opportunity to get back in the game. But at the end of the game, like I said, you had your dog show up again. You got Draymond, who's a dog. You got Steph, who's an assassin. And then you got Jimmy Butler, who's playing in between. He knocked down a key three. He knocked down some buckets in the half court, and then he made some defensive plays too to help seal that win. So, again, you're dealing with a team with some experience. Jimmy done got two teams to the finals from the Heat. You got the Warriors, who done won championships, and then you got a team that don't have much playoff experience at all. So.
Yeah, man. But 95-85, it ain't playoff basketball no more. That's old school conference playoff basketball. But that 95 points, at least 4 of these other games, they were lost. And that's against teams, against teams that lost the game. Team that other series that lost put up more than 95. So ain't not, but that 85 points that they held them to is because these dudes, they figured out that, they dared them to shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they got an elite defense to me. They just knew how to play them. So I want to see how good they look against, as they advance, if they advance past Houston.
Okay. When it comes to playoff, when you say it ain't playoff basketball no more, I'm gonna look at the trends. I went back and looked at the scores from all game ones. There was only one losing team that scored over 100 points. Every other losing team was less than 100 points.
But they all scored over 95 though. All but maybe 2.
No. Boston didn't score over 95.
Boston won, didn't they?
I mean, not Boston. Orlando didn't score over 95. They scored 87.
Who
did? The Bucks did?
Yep.
Okay. And who else?
Let me get to it.
Clippers scored over 100. But they didn't get over 100, did they? Of course, the Grizzlies didn't get over
95 too. They lost with that 95. They cost them a lose. That's what I'm saying though. At 95, that's a losing. Lakers showed that in theirs, but the Pistons got 112, Clippers 110, Bucks 98.
Okay.
Magic, the only ones, and the Magic and the Grizzlies, only 2 teams that didn't. And the Magic, of course, Celtics are a great defense. You know what I'm saying? So that's expected, and that's the Eastern Conference. But in the Grizzlies, they put up 80. And that ain't no basketball. That ain't regular season basketball.
I got you. Okay. All right.
He's leaving.
So all right, okay. We looking forward to it, I should say. We got some interesting matchups, we got some interesting predictions over the next week. We're gonna sit down and watch these teams grind it out, and I look forward to this is my favorite time of the year when the playoffs start because real basketball started at that time. So it's looking real competitive right now. And then last year, I don't feel like I got the competition I was looking for. But this year, or the matchups, I should say, I was looking for. This year, the matchups giving me some quality matchups, and it looked like some good things to come with this first round going into the next rounds too. With that being said, since we're in the playoffs, that means some of the teams went home on Friday or the previous week. A team that we pay attention to a lot, the team that Matt is repping the shirt on today, which is the Dallas Mavericks. Their season ended on Friday. And so this week they are having exit interviews and exit press conferences. And for the second week in a row, Mavs GM Nico Harrison had a press conference. This time it was with cameras and microphones, and we got the same results on that. So, Matt. Oh, and then we're introducing my favorite topic or segment of the show, which is more or less. Matt, more or less, Nico's press conference from today, where he said that he didn't know that the fans love Luka as much as they showed him. How do you feel about today's press conference? I should say, more or less on Nico again.
Still, we're going more or less again. Yeah, more of less Nico. But
Nico.
I always on Nico because um, the audacity, you know what I'm saying, to say the things that you said. But in a lot of ways, you cleared some stuff up for me. You let me know in my mind what I heard was kid knew what was going on. You just let him know about the trade in the 11th hour, which I've always discussed the type of players that he would want. He has the same mentality as you. Yeah, you ran it by the owner. The owner's trusting you with the basketball decisions, and they let you have it. It wasn't that they forced you to make this trade. And the reason I'm saying that is because every time I post something on Instagram or Facebook, I get Maverick fans telling me it ain't his fault. That this was the ownership that wanted to do this, but you are the dude that's in charge of basketball. So when they brought that up to him, he said, "Hey, nah, they didn't say anything to me like that. And had they did that, I'm stubborn. I don't like people telling me what to do. So I probably wouldn't have done it no way." But he saw it in his best interest and the Mavericks' best interest to make this trade, and feels like Anthony Davis was the centerpiece of it all, and he's better than Luka, from what I gathered from this trade. And I want to know how he felt about that. He felt it because they asked, "Why didn't you get more?" He's like, "We got enough." Anthony Davis, if you don't like Anthony Davis, then you wouldn't understand this trade, is what he said. And he said that wrongly because you don't have to dislike Anthony Davis to dislike this trade, or not dislike this, however I want to say it. I don't dislike Anthony Davis, and I still don't like this trade for a lot of reasons. And I just want to shout out to the Maverick fans that like this trade, that are defending this and making it more than what it is. The one thing y'all are not mentioning is because everybody, the point people make is what Luka didn't do against the Celtics. Nobody stopped the Celtics last year, but if you look at the numbers, everybody on the team numbers went down outside of Luka, and that's including Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, as far as our scorers, our big time scorers on the team. But yeah, I'm gonna give me less of that. I'm gonna shut it off on that because I can keep going on and on. But yeah, the Mavericks fans, y'all stop playing, man. I've been doing this since '91 with the Mavericks. I know what this is gonna lead to. Some of y'all just got here in 2015. Leave me alone with y'all nonsense. I had one person tell me Dirk didn't lead us to a championship. It was Jason Terry, Tyson Chandler, and Sean Marion. They were role players on this team that Dirk was already on. Like, come on, man, get for real. Who got the statue? Who got the street named after them? Because everybody know who was the leader of that team. Ask LeBron them who was leading. And y'all forgot, you should at least do J.J. Barrett in there because he helped do some stuff too. You was going to really throw some names out there. And then you said, like, Luka hadn't done nothing that he did counted. Like, nothing that it don't count unless you win a championship is the dumbest shit to me. Like, how do you get to the championship without playing games that don't count? But
I didn't know you had got into it with guys over this, man. I didn't know this was a topic that
guys and females are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody coming.
I didn't know this was a topic where it was getting bad. Like people was actually trying to back this nigga. I thought the majority of people, which I was obvious about the chance that he was getting in the arena, that he needed to be fired based off of this trade. Again, I more crazy. Less of Nico as well. I didn't watch the full press conference, and I ain't gonna promise, but I look forward to watching it. But I saw the clips, and he just looked like he's trying to cover up from the set. Like if you're gonna go out here and do a press conference, go ahead and just give us the truth. I feel like you're lying through your teeth on some of those answers. Trying to just hurry up and get out of there. One of the questions they asked him, which was that question, he's talking about, "Oh, this is a good question," as if he didn't assume that type of question was going to be answered, asked, I should say. So, I think he's doing. And then I even backtracked. I mean, I know he got credit for what he did to get to the finals last year, but he also was the GM that lost Jalen Brunson too. And so
I told people like, man, Brunson won, yeah, he did that, and he's also the GM that got PJ Washington in after you could have got him as a free agent. Then you had to give up Grant Williams in the first round pick to make up for that mistake. You know what I'm saying? And you gave up Quentin Grimes for nothing against Caleb Martin, but you can at least got that second round pick, which is the 35th pick this year. you gave that back to them. You know what I'm saying?
Want to
But I
cover it
posted
up.
on my Instagram, most of it, like 24 minutes of it, because the first one I didn't really care for. But yeah, there's mad fans out here, and most of them that are out here defending this, I'm gonna just say it because they don't know who I am and they don't understand who I am, so they feel like they can come to me and really make this about more than basketball. It becomes a more of a racial thing with people and defending Nico because people
Okay.
throw at me. So
Is
I'm knowing.
I don't understand. Nico is considered what is he? I don't really care his race, to be honest with you. He didn't tell
I
me.
don't need it, man. You know, you come all ahead, you know. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but either way it goes, that's why people are defending and feel like they got to come to his defense. For the most part, is what I see. Not everybody, but some people are. I can tell by the way that they word their questions or their answers or their rebuttals. And with me, it ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Not in this part of life when we talking about this basketball and these Mavericks and what's going on right now in particular. I'm not saying it ain't never been about that with the Mavericks. At some point, I could be right up front. I was tired of us at one point getting Cherokee Parks and Lauren Myers type and Chris Hansty. So when we got Dirk, I wasn't happy. I'm like, what the fuck? What are we doing? So yeah, y'all don't know my plight. So me appreciating Luka and what he brought, man, I was looking past everything else that was holding me back at some point. I saw past anything skin or racial when it came to him.
Okay, I got you. So we can agree on this one. We more less of Nico. I ain't honestly saying I ain't gonna judge him and say he just necessarily need to be fired. I just need him to go away until the next start of next season. Stop coming up with the excuses. Stand on
Nah,
it.
he fired. Hell
Yeah.
no, don't fire. You need to stick around and see this shit happen. If this shit, no,
Stay
he
on that,
fired him.
and then we'll see how it pans out. But as of right now, stand on it when you at the press conference, the way you stood on pressing that button to send Luca to LA. That's all I want him to do. So less of Nico. Moving over to football, as we got the NFL draft this year, but this news actually isn't from draft prospects. This is from a player from the past who's stating from his wife, came out and said that he is now still currently training for the NFL and NFL.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, man.
English.
This
Can you hear
is
me
a
now?
bad little connection. We on StreamYard right now, and yeah, like we in the backyard with all this where they connecting us in and stuff.
Okay. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, you good, my brother.
All right. So
But yeah,
more or less, Colin Kaepernick training every day for an NFL comeback, even though he hasn't played in 8 years. He's currently 38 years old.
oh man, I hate like raining on people parade or whatever. I'm just gonna say less because I've heard we've been here before. And if you're not gonna accept um, a quarterback job in any professional league, because there's like at least another one right now, then I really don't want to hear that. Nobody, we don't have any more Doug Flutie stories coming out right now. Dude coming out, you know, and he was even him. He was coming out of a football league. He played in USFL or whatever else was CFL. My bad at that time. Yeah, I don't. I got to get less on that, man. And I like. I never liked Colin Kaepernick because he's a 49er. Let me not lie, but I do appreciate his story. But yeah, I'm over it.
I got you. I am less on it as well, and I'm less on it based off of 8 years out of the NFL. That's a lot of time to miss football. Most people can't even come back after missing a year.
Shit,
So
for real.
for that, hoping for opportunity. I'm gonna say less because I don't think any team's gonna give you an opportunity. But based off of just the time, I don't know if they ever really got over the kneel down and stuff like that. But then you sued them, so it's kind of hard to go back and play with somebody you sued, even though y'all settled it. However, from a football standpoint, I am a 49ers fan, and I did see them last years with Colin Kaepernick. It wasn't the best years either. I want to say that last year was with Chip Kelly. instead of being with Jim Harbaugh. And he was not the most efficient passer at that time, which has led to him being benched, if I'm not mistaken. Because again, this is 8 years ago, so don't quote me on that. But if his skills wasn't you playing football every day at that time, 30 years old versus 38 years old, I'm gonna say less on the comeback. Crazy ball. Jim Harbaugh tried to offer him a job last year on the staff. He turned it down for still talking about he training for a comeback. Like, man, go and take that coaching job and go ahead. That way you're around football every day. And if you still had it in you, you could show somebody then being in the organization that, hey, man, I can still compete with these guys every day. But doing it on your own and hoping for a comeback, I'm going to say less. So it ain't even much to speak of. It's Colin Kaepernick, and I'm a fan of you. 49ers fan. I'm a fan of the kneel down. I'm a fan for everything it represented, but less of the comeback. And
more coming back to the 49ers as a quarterback, though. I'm good with that. Come on back as the 49ers quarterback.
His arm's stronger than Brock Purdy's. I'm pretty sure he got a better arm than that. But
yeah, I mean, 8 years, man. I don't know. I mean, unless he's been bagging groceries like Kurt Warner was doing, man. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't buying that.
I got you. All right. So either way, less of that. And then our last more or less topic. And I'm gonna bring it up on the specifics. We have Prairie View football coach Tremaine Jackson, who sent out a list of things that he wanted from his players if they were trying to transfer to Prairie View from the transfer portal. They had to, if he followed them on any social media, they had to follow him back within a 4-hour window, or they was done. The first message in exchange, they had to send the phone number, transcripts, and their highlight tapes. They also had to address the coach as coach, not bruh, or by first and last name. Don't even ask about NIL, even though they have it. But most people, he said, hadn't even played 200 snaps on the college team, so why even be asking about an NIL bag? And then lastly, pray and talk to your family, your girlfriend, your dog, and any people before they offer you. Don't wait until they offer you and say, hey, I need to get back with you after you done been to the campus 80 visits, is what he said. So, Matt, more or less, Prairie View A&M's football coaches' strict transfer portal guidelines.
Less. I want to go with him on this, man. I'm saying less just because of even if you feel this way, I'm not mad at you for having these stipulations, but the way you put it out there can be taken out of context. And it can cause, if it matters to you, and it should, because you're the coach, you should be wanting to get good players in, looking for opportunities to play. Like the first rule, 4-hour window to follow back. I'm like, man, I don't know how I would have been on social media at 18, 17, 18, 19, 20. But if it's anything like I am now, man, messages sit for a day or two sometime, and I don't get to say nothing back, or people follow me and I don't even know, So it just depends on what level of recruit that you have. You dealing with somebody with maybe 100 followers, maybe they can see that you followed them, but I don't know. Hold up. Yes, I don't know. Send your number, transcript, highlights, and the first message, like, okay, I respect that, I guess. Address him as coach, not bro, I respect that. That should go without saying. If you got to say that, I mean, damn, maybe they make the ones for you anyway. Now, this one was confusing. Don't ask for NIL, which we do have. Just so you know, in case you need, we got it. Because we do. When PFF has you taking less than 200 snaps. So if I got over 200 snaps, I can ask, right? But if it's less, I can't ask, like, what's the stipulations for people under 200 snaps? I didn't really like that. Like, just put it for everybody then. Now it sounds like you're taking shots at people versus being real about what you're looking for. Sound like a jab at somebody maybe that's done asked you before, and now you saying, hey, yeah, we don't play that. And this is a reminder to anybody because we done seen this before. Should have got your money from them. Now it's time to like, come on, that's not necessary. That should be understood. Pray, talk to your family, girlfriend, dog. Now you're trying to make people laugh. Who talks to their dog? I get where you're going, and any other people before we offer you, not after. You take 80 visits. We get into, I mean, if that's what you require, then stand on that. But make sure you do that with everybody.
Right.
When the time comes and somebody considers you after taking 80 visits and realize Prairie View is the best place for them because they wanted to weigh their options and they decide that this and this is the number one quarterback or the best quarterback that y'all can probably get, and they say no because you put that stipulation in, it'll come back. So just stand on that. But no, I won't less.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna wrap mine up real easy. We got the more or less segment. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony and the 7 p.m. crew, the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn crew, and their favorite segment on their show is "Fuck with it or fuck out of here." This is one of those where I'm gonna just go ahead and get straight to the point and say, Prairie View coach Tremaine Jackson, fuck out of here with that bullshit. Man, the stipulations, you ain't even got a top program, man. I don't even need to know your NIL deals. I know it ain't the dollars that the other programs of the D1 are having. I can't tell you anybody who's transferred in there and said, hey, I want to definitely come to Prairie View A&M based off of these stipulations you have for us. So anybody who was coming to transfer to Prairie View A&M is probably on their second to last leg from their other school. And so they might not have enough tape there. Other schools probably getting rid of them to bring in some new talent. That's why they're considering Prairie View A&M. And I'm just shoot you straight. Yeah, you run into a couple people who traditionally want to play for HBI, historically black college, I should say, but it ain't many. And it's a lot of times due to the NIL money. I'm one of those that had I was recruited by University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, and then I had some PWIs. I sat down, and even back then, it was a little skippy on if my financial aid money was going to be straight, which is why I immediately went to a PWI and was like, hey, I'm here. I want to get with y'all because I know the stipulations are going to be had. And plus, I was looking for a winning tradition as well. So, again, less of this than tell old buddy Tremaine Jackson, yeah, fuck out of here with that.
I got to shout out to my boy Toby Conley and his son Trey Conley. They played quarterback for PV like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
Started quarterback. So shout out to y'all. But your coach right now, I don't know if that was your coach Trey or Toby, if that was Trey coach, man. But
nah, this coach, I don't know how long you've been there, but I know this coach came from Valdosta State, which is actually a nice program, a nice D2 program, because I played against them the last year I played at D2 at University of Arkansas Monticello. They have a very rich tradition at Valdosta State, and I think he did some winning there too. However, these transfer portal guidelines, he's going to lose a lot of good people. It's okay to have guidelines for the portal, but putting it out there this way is just going to deter a lot of people from wanting to come.
Even looking.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when I got to hear that. So imagine if you got to be my coach every day too.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking like that. Like, okay, you doing it like that now, I can just imagine. And I love good old school coaches that get on you and shit, but not the ones that's unnecessarily just being petty.
Extra and stuff. I got you. All right. So with that being said, that's our last more or less topic for this episode. Again, this is season 1, episode 9. We have some big things doing this week. This week we will actually be taping our first live episode with a guest. I'm looking forward to that. Again, as we started out the show with, if you're rocking with us, definitely hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll drop in some clips from this on our social media. I can't wait to drop in the clip where Matt was going in on his Mavericks comrades, where they going into it about is Nico doing a great job. But other than that, that's all I got for this episode, man. What you got? Including this episode,
y'all ask because I don't like that. The blindness. Y'all not seeing how our future is gone, man. We gotta get real lucky in this draft for us to have some hope for the future. Nothing's guaranteed. We got 2 guys on the wrong end of 30, and that we don't know how injuries. We saying wait till Kyrie come back. but we don't know if AD gonna be here when Kyrie come back. I mean, healthy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm gonna stay on y'all ass. As long as y'all keep responding to what I gotta say, because I'm gonna say what I got to. If you don't want to hear it, then just ignore it. But shout out to everybody that's tuned in, seen some views on YouTube, Spotify. But I want to see some likes. Everybody, if you rock with me on my page or anything, I would love that support, especially anybody that's considered a friend or relative. If y'all ignoring what y'all see, then I just know that you just a hater, So don't let don't let me put you in that book. I ain't saying you gotta have love or show love every time, but if you see it and you just like, hey man, it's Matt, and you going by because you see me on here, then that's what that is. And I know I get that energy. And I'm gonna say this because I've had some people share some stuff from my page, and when I reached out to thank them from my personal page, they seen who I was, they stopped sharing. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they let me know what time you on when you on that. But shout out to everybody that's on that, because all I do is show love. Everybody that see me or they interact with me on Instagram, I share stories to my story, people stuff, people that's on the up and up, people that's stuck in it, wherever it is, I'm helping out when I see something I like, no matter what level you consider yourself to be on. Because that's how I am. And I know it's going to be reciprocated at some point. So y'all stay tuned, because if y'all ain't gonna, I'm saying that because we got a good interview coming up, and I know if y'all ain't showing no love for that, then yeah, y'all, I know what y'all on. But that's it, Willie, man. What else you got? My bad.
I ain't got nothing, man. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna watch this fourth quarter of the Pistons in this game, as the Pistons were actually up at the end of the third quarter. So I'm gonna sit down and watch that, and then get into this Clipper Nuggets game 2. We'll go from there. Again, everybody
that hit me up asking for an interview, man. I'm very honored that y'all reach out and ask to be on. We'll see if we can work something out. Not guaranteeing anything. Definitely has to make sense, but I'm honored that you would reach out, and I would definitely try to see if I can convince Willie to make it work. Something we can do together. And make it make sense to him too, because we both got to agree that it makes sense. But I do appreciate people for taking some liking to us to even ask that. I ain't gonna say who all it was until we can actually interview them.
Appreciate it as well. Again, thank y'all for rocking with us. Thank y'all for even considering coming on. So yeah, that's everything I got. Again, this is season 1, episode 9. Again, hit the like, hit the subscribe, Spotify, YouTube. Everybody, y'all have a good night. We'll go ahead and end this. Salute to everybody. Till next time.
All right.